every day, working alongside us, encouraging us, loving us, and making sure that we understand why this company exists. We're so lucky to have Mary. So I wanted to give her a proper introduction. Please, let's give her one big more round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mary Young.
When I was in my first year of college at the University of Utah, I was invited to a meeting at what was then the Hotel Utah, a very beautiful, grand hotel known for its architectural beauty in downtown Salt Lake. Everyone knew that if a meeting was being held there, it must be a very important meeting. So I went out of curiosity. There was a lot of noise and people were jumping up and down and yelling and clapping with excitement. Over what? Over soap? I couldn't understand it, and I didn't like the noise or the energy I felt. So I walked out and went home. About 20 years later, I met a gentleman who was working in a booth at the Utah State Fair who invited me to a meeting about Chinese herbs. I wasn't going to go, but some strange energy was pushing me. I went back and I remember the noise of that meeting 20 years ago, which made me more reluctant. But I went. The people were really nice, and the meeting was very calm. I liked what they said about the products, so I thought I would try a couple of them. I became excited, and I wanted to tell my friends about this company that I had discovered. So I just started talking. I was surprised when I received a check for $5 in the mail, and I didn't know why. The next month, I received a second check, but it was for $100. I was even more surprised. I thought, oh, I know they've made a mistake. So I called the company, and they told me that that check was what I had earned. What did I earn? I became so curious, I decided to read the policy and procedures. You know, where it says you check to say that you've read them before you sign up. We all check it, but we don't read it, right? I know you. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I was so shocked when I learned that I could earn money with this as a business. Why didn't my sponsor tell me? Why didn't she tell me there was a financial opportunity? My father invested in a gold mine in Colombia, which turned out to be a scam. And he lost a lot of money. He borrowed money against his home, which was previously paid off, and then he borrowed even more money to invest in this mining operation. And I believe losing so much money with this horrible adventure was terrible for our entire family. And all of this, I believe, was a part of why my father died so young. The embarrassment was more than he could endure, and emotionally he suffered greatly, and he saw no way out. Now, along comes a new business opportunity. Oh, you see, he's got the pictures off of me in Colombia. That's me on the front end loader. I had a lot of fun on that big equipment. And you can see the gold balls. Are they up there? Oh, John, they're not up there yet. But the gold balls were what we burned when we burned the mercury off. This is what was left. And we would take them to Medellin to the refinery. And this is what we sold in order to maintain the mine or keep the mine going. But of course, there was never enough gold. There just wasn't enough. And getting into that kind of business is a lot of money. So we ended up selling out to a company in Canada and came back to the US, and we barely broke even with our expenses down there, but we never ever paid off any of the debt that was incurred here in the US. And I'm remembering all of this as I'm hearing about this Chinese herb company, this new business opportunity that I just stumbled on. And you know what? I saw a way of paying off my parents' debt. Now, was it my responsibility? No. But I was young and my parents were older. I think my father was so defeated he couldn't have done anything. And so I took it upon my shoulders to at least free my parents of the debt that they created with the money they borrowed against their home. And I have to tell you, I did it. And I did it in 2 years. But the moral of the story is that you never know who has a need, who you might be able to help. And I think nowadays, there's even more of a dramatic need for money in one's life. Money's the medium of exchange. You gotta pay your bills. You must buy food for the family. You need shoes for the kids for school. Just the mundane things that we have to have on a daily basis. It all takes money. So if you are afraid to talk about money, you might be denying that person the very thing that they need. If I had known that there was a financial opportunity attached to these Chinese herbs, I might have done things differently. I could have structured my organization to maximize my earnings. But eventually, I figured it out for myself. You are here because you qualified at the silver rank. So obviously, you have been talking and doing your part to help others. This is a together kind of a business, and no one person can do it alone. You need to teach and educate those who are already in your organization. But you also need to bring in new people who can first benefit from our fabulous products, and second, build a business if they desire. We've been hearing that all day, and everybody's basically saying the same thing. I have loved what has been said here today because I see the mentality. I see how you're working. I see how creative you are. I see how you want to build, and it's fun for me to hear that. I love meeting new people and hearing about their life adventures. But I don't know how many of you are like me, but it's very difficult for me to talk to people who I don't know, especially when I want to introduce them to this new product I have discovered. My entire personality was challenged by nature, and don't laugh, yes you can laugh. I am very shy, and I would prefer to sit on the last row in the back and not have to say anything. When singing, I simply would go on stage and sing what I memorized and then go off stage. But standing in front of a bunch of people and teaching was so scary to me. I wasn't sure anyone wanted to hear what I had to say, and was even less certain I could express myself in the right way. I'd never been in a situation like that before. Do you relate to what I'm saying? How many of you feel that same way? Believe me, I made a lot of mistakes, and many times I said the wrong thing. But I had a burning desire and was continually asking questions of those people who seemed to know how to build. I would go to the meetings and I'd go to the people who were at the top and I'd say, how do you do this and how do you do that? And how do you get people interested? I listened to what everyone had to say, and I tried what made sense. As I look back over the years, I have come to realize that my greatest asset was that I cared about those who I brought into the company, and I wanted them to be successful. I said many times that it's only fun when everyone's making money, not just a few. I used to think that this type of business was where the people at the top took all the money from the people at the bottom, and I was at the bottom, and I didn't like that. As I continued to build my business and learn more about this industry, I realized that it was possible for anyone to be successful, anyone who had the desire. And it's the same for everyone who starts whenever they start. As time went on, I found myself frustrated with the Chinese work company because I wanted more knowledge. I wanted real substance and a greater purpose for what I was doing. I always had to have purpose, and just selling Chinese herbs was not enough for me. And I was very successful. I had a fabulous organization. I had fabulous people, many who are still friends, many who came with me into Young Living. I mean, I loved what I did. I loved being in the field. I loved just hearing their stories, and we'd go to conventions and we just laughed and had so much fun. Being together in meetings like this was the greatest fun for me because I loved being with all those who were in my organization. I loved meeting people in other people's organizations, and I loved hearing how they did things because I was always in a state of wanting to learn. In 1992, I was here in this building in the Salt Palace attending a preparedness expo. They were quite common in the late 1900s, 1995, 94, 96, 97. There were lots of expos going on. Everybody was afraid that something was going to happen when we turned the century, and nothing happened. I loved going to these preparedness expos because there were so many new things to discover. And it was here that one of the speakers said, and I was sitting in the very top of the bleachers with 10,000 people, and he was way out there just like a little dot on the stage. And he said, just before he walked off stage, make sure you check out those oils. Then he looked at everybody and he said, thank you, and walked off stage. And I'm sitting there going, oils? What's he talking about? Eventually, I found an oil booth, which turned out to be what the speaker was talking about. And I was fascinated and invited to go to a meeting, to which I was not able to attend. But I told him, I said, well, if you come to town again, call me. And I left, and I just kind of shrugged it off, and I never gave it another thought. 2 months later, they called me, and I went. I sat at the very back of the room. I didn't know a single person there. You know, it's always nice to go to a meeting when there's someone else who says, yeah, this is really good stuff. Yeah, read this. Wasn't anybody. And I just listened. But you know what? As I listened, I heard truth. I didn't think that I wanted to build a business, but I wanted to try the products. So I signed up and was put under someone else who in all those years never once called me on the phone. Never even once called me to see who I was, why I bought the products. Not once. And I think of her often today. She's never done anything in Young Living. I never hear her name. I don't even know if she's in the system anymore. But it was strange to me. because I would have been her lucky find, even though she didn't find me. And I was excited. And when you're excited, you can talk. But I thought, well, I've already done this once before. I just started trying to figure it out myself. But as I listened to what they said, I determined I had to find out who was this Gary Young? Who was he? What kind of a person was it who was teaching them all this kind of stuff that I'd never heard before? I'd never heard anyone ever talk so fast, without notes, quoting dates, places, names, and quoting ancient scripture. Oh, was I ever fascinated. I loved what I heard. I believe that when you are a truth seeker, you recognize truth when you hear it. And I knew I was hearing truth. I loved the rich history of essential oils and all the ways that they were used and the vast benefits they offered. I loved that they came from nature and that Gary was building a farm to produce oils. Gary offered me a job as his marketing director. Me? But I had a business, and I was way too independent to work in an office. I loved being out in the field, but I told Gary I would help him. In 1993, Gary moved his business from Spokane, Washington to Salt Lake because Salt Lake had a much greater business environment, and there was a lot of international activity here. But as I watched Gary in his business, I could see the struggles he was having, and I came to the realization that what he wanted to do, he could not do it all himself. I decided to help him, and soon his mission became my mission. Everything about Gary was fascinating. He could do so many things, from building and creating with his hands to working and formulating in the lab. He was a brilliant entertainer in lecturing and teaching. He made you laugh. You never wanted to miss one word that he had to say. And he was clever in his use of words. It was really fascinating to be in his audience. And I heard him give hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lectures, and they were never the same. There were no two that were ever the same. And he kind of did that because he picked up on your energy. He went by what he felt when he was up here. He was a very creative writer. But more than anything, he loved working on the farm and developing what we have today. He loved working with the earth and watching the plants grow and discovering how to extract the oils in the most efficient way to preserve the quality. Out of all of that came the opportunity for me, for you, to go and be a part of the whole process. He was so excited in St. Mary's because he said to me, I'm going to invite all the distributors to come and join me, to come and help us at the farm. I want them to see how we produce oils. I want them to see what it takes and why it's not cheap. And he said, but I want to sell the oils for as low a price as I can. But it costs a lot to extract an oil out of a plant and everything that goes into that. I just wonder, is there a particular oil that you would cry about if you couldn't get it anymore? Just one of them. Mine would be hill chrism and frankincense. And I never go anywhere without hill chrism. Why do we feel that way? It's because of the benefits we receive, right? No? Yes?
Yes.
Why do you use the oils? Because you like what it does for you. If there wouldn't be any benefits, we wouldn't care. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have a young living. We wouldn't be together. I found myself immersed in the dream. And while Gary was traveling and lecturing, I stayed home and ran the office. Well, one thing led to another, and I became Gary's partner for life and beyond. He used to say, what Mary did, nobody else can duplicate. Again, he was always so clever and so funny with his words. We thought alike. We had the same values, and we both had an immense desire to help other people in need. It was exciting to see him in action. And it was exciting for me to be able to give him the support he needed to grow the vision that he had. That vision is still the same. That vision never changed, it never altered. I don't know personally anyone who had more ideas about so many different things to create that would benefit mankind, that would benefit someone else. It's fascinating to study history and see how many people who have stood for truth were persecuted. Gary was so criticized and ridiculed, and at that time, the idea that essential oils had any value to the human body was ridiculous. Our world is in such chaos. But the evil of men is staring us in the face and becoming known to all people who are looking for answers. We know more about the corruption in our world than we have ever known. The dark side does not want the truth to be known, and we are part of the truth. But this is an opportunity for all of us to stand strong with the beliefs and the convictions that we have. This is an opportunity to be the leader, to be the example. I find it fascinating that the internet is still attacking Gary. They don't want the truth to be known. They don't want the power of God's, I don't want to say that word, of God's plant essences to be known. They don't want that out there. That hurts the pharmaceutical industry. That hurts the people who gain so much from the deception, from the manipulation, from the brainwashing. How many of you have met people who are so brainwashed in the allopathic industry they can't even hear about something that's natural? There are lots of people out there. But there are more people who are getting frustrated. They want a toxic-free lifestyle. They want products that don't have chemicals in them. They want products that aren't going to hurt their children. And they're looking. People want so much to have a leader they can believe in, someone they can follow. And when new people are given the opportunity, lives are changed, and new leaders begin to grow and come to the forefront. Gary saw so much in the future and openly spoke about what he believed, which brought more ridicule and laughter. I was with him, and once in a while, I saw the hurt in his eyes, though he rarely spoke about it. But today, so much of what he knew is being studied and proven to be true by science. I have often heard it said, how did Gary know that? Gary lived intuitively, and his heart, mind, and spirit worked together with his knowing about what he was supposed to do. The scientific world is looking, and more scientists and medical professionals are realizing there is value in the plants and the essential oils that they offer. You've all had experiences with professional people who are starting to ask questions, who want to know more. People who are surprised about what has happened to you because you went a natural way and you go back for a checkup and they can't understand what happened to you. It's a no-brainer for us. But for someone who isn't aware of what we have, it's a challenge for them to accept. But this is your time to grow and shine. It's often at the silver rank that you decide if you want to go for it and really join in wholeheartedly to build an organization. What would keep you from going forward? Are you uncomfortable talking to people like I was? Do you think you don't know enough? You're not qualified to teach and answer questions? Those are more like excuses because it's an easy way out. So what is it about? The reality of building lies within the love you have for the products. It's about sharing the love that you have for a particular product and what it has done for you. We can all share about something we love. Anyone can share about anything they love. Can you tell someone about lavender, valor, joy, thieves, and the list goes on and on and on? When you think of it that way, it seems easy. So how do you find someone who would want to build a business? And we've heard lots of people talking today about that. It was so challenging for me because I was so shy. I was so afraid to say anything. But I was excited. I have 3 or 4 things that I always would look for that might be helpful to you. You might like to write this down. Number 1, look for someone who has a burning desire, a need. Number 2, look for someone who likes to help other people. I mean, if they don't want to talk and they don't care, then that's not going to be the person for you. Look for someone who cares about health. I mean, it's pretty hard to get someone interested if they don't believe that there's real value in what Mother Nature has to offer. And then the 4th thing is, look for someone who likes to talk. Someone who has an outgoing personality. Someone who isn't afraid to talk to someone else like me. It's not about knowing everything about all the products. Oh my goodness, that is a huge task for anyone. It's not about knowing the chemistry. We just need to know we have scientists in the office who know the chemistry. We heard Dr. Bartlett today. Doesn't that give you a feeling of security, listening to him speak up here with all that he had to share with us about Ninja Red? But you don't have to remember all of that, but you take that feeling of security home with you. And when you talk to someone about Ninja Red, it's not having a big social media platform or knowing how to make PowerPoints with a computer. You may not know this, but our Amish community is on fire and growing very fast, and they are doing this without computer technology. When I started, I didn't have a computer. I didn't know how to run a computer. And when I would type a newsletter, I got really frustrated if I made a mistake because you had to use the white correcting tape to block it out and then type over it. Who does that today? But that's my memory of the typewriter back then, and I didn't like it. I'm very excited about our new CBD products that will soon be launching. They are replacing the Beauty Boost and the Muscle Rub, and will have new names and a new look. I just approved the packaging last week. And it is beautiful. The formulas are spectacular. Oh my goodness. And everybody who tries it, I know Ben, Prasad, they've had samples where they've been going and letting people try it and experience it on their skin. It's fantastic. You are going to love it. So we're pushing really hard to get it all together and get it out to you as quickly as possible because we know that you are anxious. We know that you're missing the products, but what you're going to get is far superior to what we had. So I'm very excited about it. I said to John, I don't know if I dare get away with saying that, but I'm saying it, so. I blew the surprise, but you all know it's coming anyway. There is so much that I could talk about. There is so much I could tell you about our products. But the information is easy now to find on the internet and in so many books. I hope that you've been to the Seeds of Time booth, you've talked with Lindy, and you know about the new book that she has, the new reference guide. It is spectacular. Unfortunately, it's very heavy because there's a lot of pages in it. So it's much better to get it now and carry it home than have it shipped. Sorry, Kevin, I'm up here and you're out there. Too bad. If you are looking for specific details about individual oils or oils within a blend, you can find almost anything on the internet. And don't forget to search PubMed. My goodness gracious, when I started looking, I was overwhelmed, but there's so much information about essential oils, and there's a lot of good, positive information. We didn't have that 10 years ago. We didn't really even have it 5 years ago. It's very exciting to have this information. The world is changing, and even though we don't like a lot of what we see, there are many good things and greater opportunity available than ever before. Many people in this industry are worried about what's going to happen to their business. So many companies are walking away from the direct selling model. But that's our model. And guess what? We are not changing. I consider you my friends. And if I sold Young Living, I would be selling my friends. And if I changed our business model, I would be hurting my friends. And I morally could not do that to you. We are about taking essential oils to the world. And if you are not here, who's going to do that? You're the ones who are doing it. You are all so important. And I want to help you be successful as we carry forth with our mission. So what is our future? Your future. We're just going to get better and better. We're going to make a few little changes to make the compensation plan more enticing to those in the lower ranks. And you're going to love what we're doing. I hope I can make the announcement in the next week or so.
Yay!
I'm very excited to get it out, so you have time to start thinking about how you're going to get busy and build. It's going to be very exciting for me, believe me. And all the people we've talked to, and talking to those in higher ranks, they're excited for what all of you are going to be gaining with these little changes. So that's just a tidbit. It's not in the script. I probably should have kept my mouth shut, but I just love to share. I love to tell you secrets. We want to get our supplements into countries where regulations have made it so difficult. So we're going to see what changes we have, what changes we can make to bring you these products. And sometimes it's just one simple ingredient. And if we can find another ingredient that's just as good, that's comparable, then we're going to change it out so you can have the product. Because I know, especially you in APAC, you're screaming for our supplements. And we want to get them to you. We are working on the website to make it the same worldwide with more tools and improved functionality. Can you go for that? Yeah. I want you to be successful first with the benefits of our products. Then second, with a healthy business that meets the needs of your family, if that's what you desire. As I said before, it's horrible when you don't have enough money to pay your bills and you fall into debt. I don't believe in debt. And I will work hard to create an income that frees me from debt. And believe me, I know what that's all about. I'll tell you a funny story. In the very beginning, when I started with the Chinese food company, I took every penny I had and paid it into the debt. Everything that I could to start paying that debt off. Well, you can either go out and buy a fancy car, or you can go out and buy fancy clothes and look the role, you know, that you're successful. But I didn't do that. I had one or two dresses, and I had a simple dress. It was really cute. It was short waist with a tie, you know. I liked it. But I wore it too much. And I had people say, Mary, you're always wearing the same dress. Why don't you go out and buy something new? And I said, I will when I'm ready. I don't believe in talking about what you don't have. I don't believe in saying, I don't have enough money. I can't do it. I can't pay for it. When you say it, that's what you create. So don't put those words out there in the universe. It'll come back to you and bite you. If I can't pay for it, I always say, well, you know, there's something else I'm going to do first. Or I have another idea that I want to explore before I do that. I would never, ever tell anyone I didn't have any money. I would never say, I can't buy it, I can't spend it, I can't go there. After the opera, I went to the opera almost every night when I was living in Vienna. And I had great friends. And we would go in Stehplatz, in the standing room, because we could buy the tickets for 5 or 10 cents Saturday morning for the whole week. It was so cheap to go, and I wasn't going to miss out on anything. But my friends always wanted to go out to dinner afterwards. And we'd go to the local pub or whatever, and I'd smell the little schnitzel, and I was so hungry. And you know what? I said, no, I'm not hungry, I just need something to drink. And I would drink hot lemonade. Because in Austria, you can't order water. It's highly offensive to them. So you have to do something that you're paying for. So I could order heiße Zitrone or hot lemonade, and they were totally happy with that. But I would go home hungry, wishing that I could have eaten like all my friends were eating, but I was not going to spend the money. I know what it's like to be scrappy. I know what it's like to go without, and I love those memories. I treasure what I experienced because it gives me tremendous appreciation for what I have today, for what we have. Everyone has to determine how they're going to accomplish what they want to do, how they're going to build a business. But with our kind of business, you can have the best of both worlds. Why not build a business selling products that you love and being part of the excitement, watching others discover unexpected benefits, the excitement of growth, of friendships that you make from around the world? I was down in Ecuador, and I was over at Nova Vita, and I was in the spa, and I was doing the foot bath. And I was back in this little room by myself, and the building was almost empty. And Raquel, our nurse, came in and she said, Mary, we have someone else who wants a foot bath. Do you mind if she comes in with you? And I said, Do I mind? What a silly question. Of course, bring her in. This happened to be my friend Phoebe, who now lives in Toronto. And Phoebe was from Hong Kong. And Phoebe and I had a glorious time just chatting away for an hour. And you know, out of that hour, she and I became friends. And now it's all lots of hugs and kisses when we see each other, and we send text messages and emails and gifts back and forth. And I always want to know how she's doing, and she always wants to know how I'm doing. And I feel blessed for that relationship. She has a wonderful husband and children, and it's just been a fun thing. But I have that with hundreds of people around the world. I would not have that opportunity were it not for the Young Living business. You wouldn't have that opportunity. Look at how diverse we are in this room today. What a glorious opportunity is for you to get to know people from other countries who speak other languages. You know, when you have the same purpose and the same drive and the same goals, and you meet someone and they can't speak your language and you can't speak their language, you can feel their energy. And what do? You just reach out and hug them. And they hang on because they love feeling your energy. It's so glorious to be in that kind of environment. That is the real crux of humanity. And when we have something that helps people, it's even better. We have something to offer. Something even more than just that energy. Something of ourselves that we can give that will help. I think how strong we are together and our power to bring good things when we unite for one purpose that benefits all of us, all of mankind. The more people who catch our vision and the more who become successful, the more powerful we are for good in the world. Doesn't that make you feel good? Doesn't that make you feel powerful inside, knowing that you can be part of that kind of a moving energy, that kind of a force that can move out through the world, wherever? Money can be very powerful when it's used for good. And sadly, there are more bad people in the world, more people who use money for evil than there are who use it for good. So we have to be strong, we have to build, we have to grow, and we have to earn money. Because with money, we can do great things in the world. You heard Nikki up here talking about the tremendous need for the hurricane victims. Oh my goodness, what would it be like for you to lose your home? Perhaps some of you have already been through that kind of an experience. Isn't it a thrill to be able to give something to help? That's money. That's what it takes. Being with like-minded people is so uplifting to the soul. And I just absolutely love the environment that we have. When I am with our Young Living members, and that means you, I feel so rewarded and so grateful for what Young Living has brought into my life. I am just like you. I have experienced difficulties, but I have always found a way to go forward. The most difficult thing for me probably in my life was losing Gary. But because of all of you, your love, your friendship, I find strength to lead this legacy. Gary would say to me, Mary, you can run Young Living, and I'd say, no, I can't, don't talk like that. And he said, yes, you can do it, you don't need me. And I said, don't talk like that, I don't want to hear it. And he said, I remember one morning, he was in so much pain, and he said, Mary, I don't know how much longer I can endure this pain. And that was just horrifying for me to hear. And he said, my only regret is that I will not be able to teach my boys all the things that I want to teach them. And I just said, oh. But he also said, I can do more for you on the other side, well, I didn't have a clue what he was saying to me, because all I could imagine was me trying to walk in his shoes, which I could never do. I'm not the creator, I'm not the visionary, I'm not the formulator, I'm not the builder. I was the gopher. I was the one in the shadows. I was the one who paid the bills. I was the one who organized things. I was the one who helped Gary with what he was doing. But you know, he often puts thoughts and ideas into my head. So I know he is close by cheering us on as we reach for the stars on our journey to achieve our highest potential. And I will tell you this, I have had many people come to me and say, Gary just gave me this idea. I don't know how you want to take that. Maybe you're one of those people, but I've had it said to me many times. You go to the farm, we can feel Gary's presence. We know he's here. It gives me a little bit of peace knowing that my thoughts resonate with so many of you, that we can be like-minded together in the way we think about things, and the desires we have, and the things that we do. I am so blessed to see that our two sons choose to walk in their father's shoes. And you see they're both very different, but they love what they do. You are seeing them in many different capacities, as they too are learning the intricacies of our business. The young living is in their blood, and the words of their father is in their minds. Jacob's life is enhanced with his beautiful wife, Kate, and they make a strong couple as they lead with love and a desire to serve. Joseph, with his big personality, is full of ideas about how he's going to help Young Living, how he's going to help you. He loves everyone, and he keeps everyone laughing with all of his activities, his thoughts, his ideas. He's fun to be around. And I'm grateful he can still be my partner as he goes about discovering life and the future that he wants to create. And I'm sure there'll be a really wonderful young lady who comes into his life, and she'll become his partner, and Mom will just be out there at home, writing books, talking on stage, sitting at her sewing machine, doing what she loves to do. But one day, they will both lead. He gives a great foot massage too. He has Gary's hands, and he's fantastic. But they will lead with love and compassion, and the desire to keep our legacy alive and bringing goodness to all people. I'm here for you, and my family is here for you, and those in the office are here for you. We work together in peace and harmony for the benefit of all of our Young Living members. I want to just mention one little thing. There's been a lot of talk about this mindset, but nobody really explains it. And I want to give you something to think about. There are two kinds. There's the fixed mindset, and there's the growth mindset. And you might want to look at yourself. There's a book called Mindset. You can buy it from Amazon. It was a revelation to me. It was a fabulous bit of information. But the person who is fixed, and think about the people you know, think about yourself, are in a box. They can't see outside the box. It's not possible. That can't be done. I don't know how. I don't want to. I can't. This is the way we've always done it. This is the way it has to be done. This is the only way it works. You're doing it the wrong way. You can't do it that way. You know people like that? Yeah. That's the one who's fixed. And you know, a fixed mind never grows. It never achieves the highest potential. It never really becomes successful. Because in our kind of business, it's all about new ideas, innovation, change, imagination, ideas. I love to hear other people's ideas because it spurs me on to think other things. So many times I'll hear something and oh my gosh, the wheels go off in my head. If Gary had a fixed mindset, there would be no young living. I guarantee you he would have stayed in the mountains and gone back to logging and hunting. He would have never ventured into this world. But he was driven. He had a burning desire to learn. He was looking for something natural, something alternative to help him heal his body, to help him be able to walk again. And it took him, after the terrible accident, it took him 13 years to walk without help. He was in a wheelchair for 27 months. He was told he would never walk again. And that's when he was up in the mountains and was hit in the head with a tree when it was cut and one of the branches sheared off and hit him right here. He was in a coma for 3 weeks. I often wonder, where was he? What was he doing? What was he learning? Who was he talking to? But he came back with a lot of knowledge. And he ventured into the world of the unknown. And it was not only an unknown world to him, but when he was introduced to essential oils, it was even more of an unknown path. But his mind was open. He was looking, asking, wanting to know, wanting answers, wanting to learn, wanting to do it better. I remember so distinctly, he had just finished with the distillery in Highland Flats. And we were downstairs where the cooker is. And he was so excited because it was doing so well. And he walked back, folded his arms, and leaned back against the wall. And closed his eyes and just stood there. And he'd open his eyes and he'd look around. I said, Gary, what's going on in your mind? And he said this, I'm looking to see how I can make it better. He just got it started. And he was looking to make it better. That's what you have to do. How are you going to make it look better? How are you going to make it work better for you? It's not if you're like this. You gotta open your mind and let it expand and see things that are new. If you hear something that someone else did, go over and talk to them about it and see if that's something that makes sense to you. I listened to Susanna and her presentation. Wow, that was fabulous. Giving you ways to motivate and get people involved in using the products. It's so easy with oils. My goodness, you can stand in a line at the grocery store and go like this, and you'll have 10 people turn around and say, what's that? Not many products make it that easy to get into a conversation. Or you take it out and go, what are you doing? Oh, that smells so good. What is that? There are so many ways. So open your mind to growth. Have a mindset that's expanding all the time, because the universe, the world is endless. Ideas and thoughts and ideas, they're endless. But if you're like this, you'll never experience those. My mindset my mindset has always been an open one. But it was open like this. When I met Gary, I started learning about oils. It began to go like this. And my mind expanded beyond anything that I could even imagine. One time, Gary and I were driving home driving home from the office, and we have a mountain road that kind of goes like this up to our house, and we're going like this up the road, and we're talking, and like this in the car, and I said, Gary, I just know I can't do what they're talking about. I just can't do that. He looked at me and he said, you're right, you can't if that's what you think. I never said that again. That was very, very early in our marriage, and there were so many things that I learned. Another thing that I learned from Gary, and maybe it wasn't that I learned it, but I became cognizant of it. And that's when you talk to God. You don't ask God for anything. You thank Him, knowing that He's going to give it to you.
Amen.
Now, how does that work with your mindset? I'm always grateful. I'm always thankful. I never say, please give me this, please give me that. Thank you for helping me understand. Thank you for the new people that I'm meeting. Thank you for all the wonderful people who have come to Silver Club. Thank you for the opportunity to meet new people from around the world. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express love and caring and be part of this exciting movement. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead Young Living, to carry the legacy forth. And Gary put me in that place. And I was not comfortable. I didn't want to be there. But I've come to realize that I know a lot about this industry because I've been in it for a long, long time. And I've been on both sides. And I happen to like the member side the best, because I get to meet new people and teach and educate and experience the fun of them making discoveries with our products. Oh my goodness, it's so wonderful. I cannot tell you what a joy it is for me every time I go to a Young Living event and I hear your stories, your thoughts, your ideas. Open your mind up and let those ideas come to you. Because if you see them coming to you, they will come. If you don't see anything, you won't see anything. We, all of us, and I speak for those in the office, we love and appreciate all that you do, and that you are here because of your commitment and sacrifice in carrying forth the global mission of health and wellness to all those who are looking for something better. Remember, you might just be the one for whom that new person is waiting around the corner. It just might be you, and not the person sitting next to you. Don't deny that person the opportunity by being afraid to walk around that corner and meet that new person and share what we have. I can say beyond anything else that has more power for me, that I know I am speaking truth. I can look you in the eyes, and when I speak to you, I speak truth. I don't have to remember what I said yesterday. I don't have to remember what I wrote, because truth is all the same. How you express it may be different. We are the real deal, and we are here for as long as you want what we have. We will never change. I love you all, and I have fun hearing your stories and all the excitement that you experience. We are here for each other, to uplift each other, to support each other, to bring joy and happiness to each other, to experience the joy of making the world a better place. And we are doing it together. I love you all.